there's a chance that I might be able to drive. In fact, that chance is looking greater all the time. Recently, I was able to pinpoint a semi that was about a quarter of the mile down the road, I guess, and I could see other vehicles right along with it. Now, for those of you who do not know, I am visually impaired. My vision has recently come to 20/70 in the American acuity system. I'm not exactly sure what that would be in metric under the Snellen scale, so for those of you who are across the pond, I do apologize. Needless to say, my vision is very good. Now, for those of you who do not know, 20/70 is what somebody can see at 70 feet. I can see at 20 feet. But I can see very well. I'm able to make out license plates pretty clearly. I'm able to make out traffic signs pretty clearly. Now, obviously, lighting and various conditions, weather and whatnot, will all play a factor in this. But overall, if I'm traveling at the proper speed, which I do expect to get a reduced speed requirement on my license if I get one, you know, I think I should do okay. Now, how would I read the signs that I can't read with my regular glasses? Well, it's a bioptic driving lens that I would use. But that's basically leading up to the reason I'm putting together this video, which is that as I get closer and closer to driving, I've been thinking about what car I want, and I have decided that it's definitely going to be a small car. Something along the lines of the Mini Cooper, the Smart 42, the Ford Fiesta, the Fiat 500, or similar. And it got me to thinking, other countries have done extremely well with these little cars for years and years and years. Obviously, they've been around a lot longer than the US in terms of their existence and are used to navigating small roads with these tiny little cars. I honestly think it is not only our time, but that we are long overdue to adopt this. The reason being that if everybody drives a small car, then you won't have to worry about being run over. You also won't have to worry about stopping at the pump near as much. Now you're wondering, well, what about American practicality? Let me show you something. For those of you wondering, that search about the subway system, I was going to include that in this video, but I decided not to. I was going to touch on public transportation, but I decided against it. This is the Ford Grand C-Max, and for those of you who do not know, think of it as a microvan. It's based on the Ford Focus platform, but vehicles like this can allow seating for 7 and still have room for your groceries. And again, Europe and other countries have done wonders with vehicles like this for years and years and years, and I honestly think that we are long overdue. I'm also thinking that we are long overdue to, in fact, I think I am going to go ahead and include to have a major bump in our public transit system. Compared to other countries, our public transit system is meh. I mean, there are some states that do it really well, mostly in the congested metropolitan areas. But where I am, for instance, our public transit system, I was extremely surprised to find that it ranked on the top 10. I really was surprised because in my experience it hasn't been all that great. But I think now is the time, and I cannot tell you how happy I am that gas prices have risen. Why? Because it would force more of us to actually get out and walk, to seek other alternatives to work, like public transit, the bus system, your trains. And yes, I know that Americans have a love affair with the cars, but as somebody who is partially blind, I don't consider driving a convenience or a must. I consider it a luxury to get to and from the grocery store, and that's it. I don't even expect to be able to drive at all times. For instance, after the sun goes down, I will have to depend on public transit. Being forced to do this has made me realize the benefits of these higher gas prices and being forced to utilize public transportation, carpooling, even walking. Um, we need to reduce our greenhouse gases, and I think that by being forced to utilize the public transit system and by driving these little cars around and getting all of our SUVs off the road, and you're wondering, well, what about our semis? I've seen TV ads that suggest that companies start shipping their goods by train, and as a result, you would not worry so much if we were to get our SUVs and our semis off the road. Now, let me make this very clear. These are just my views. I do not wish to start a flame debate. Okay? But if we were to get our semis off the road, we would feel a lot less intimidated about driving these smaller, more fuel efficient, and in my opinion, honestly, more practical vehicles. Especially the Grand C-Max. But I do think that we're seeing a large influx of the smaller cars from Europe, and you cannot imagine how happy I am about this. I leave you with one question. Had we started out like the other countries with the smaller cars and a growing demand for public transit in the sense that, like I said, other countries, as far as their public transit systems, are far ahead of ours, especially Japan, do you think we'd be better off if we had started out like this as opposed to driving our mammoth SUVs? Think about it. Thank you for watching. Comments are welcome, and have a nice day.